Look, the Yankees and Dodgers are both staring down the same problem right now, and his name is Kyle Tucker. Here's the reality. Tucker is the best outfielder on the market, but we need to talk about whether he's actually worth what he's going to cost. Because when you're looking at projections around $427 million, we need to ask some serious questions about what you're actually getting for that price tag. The Blue Jays just locked up Dylan Cease, which suddenly makes things interesting. Does that open the door wider for New York to go all in on Tucker? Maybe. But for the Dodgers, this is where I start pumping the brakes. Tucker's not a guy who's elite at any one particular thing. He's very good at multiple things, sure. But is that worth north of $400 million when he's already dealt with injury concerns? I'm not convinced. If you can get him at the Cody Bellinger price point around $325 for 10 years, then absolutely, you have that conversation. But when we're talking about matching what Juan Soto just got or approaching Mookie Betts money, that's where I start having real problems with the fit. The Dodgers have needed to address their outfield for 2 straight seasons now. It's been one of the worst units in baseball, and that's not hyperbole. You can't run it back with just Teoscar in one corner, Andy Pages in center, Tommy Edmonds scattered around, and hope that James Outman or Ryan Ward suddenly figure it out. That's not a plan. That's crossing your fingers and hoping for miracles. You need a legitimate, proven, everyday outfielder who can hit, play defense, and not disappear for months at a time. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, Cody Bellinger. Yes, I know what I've said before about not reheating McDonald's French fries, but hear me out. At the right price, Bellinger makes sense. His timeline matches up perfectly with this core. He already knows what it means to play in Los Angeles. He understands the pressure, the expectations, the media scrutiny, and here's something people forget. He's the 16th toughest hitter to strike out in all of Major League Baseball. The swing and miss that plagued him in those down years, it's mostly gone. You're getting above average offense and above average defense, and when that deal expires in a few years, maybe he slides over to first base after Freddie Freeman hangs it up. Now, am I at a 10 out of 10 excitement level like I was for Shohei Ohtani or Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Absolutely not. But desperate times call for realistic measures. The outfield is broken. You need someone who can contribute immediately without mortgaging the entire farm system or committing $500 million to a player with injury red flags. Let's shift to the trade market because honestly, this is where things get more interesting than free agency unless you're swinging for Tucker. William Abreu from the Red Sox is out there. He's only 26 years old, which means you're getting younger while adding talent. 110 weighted runs created plus means he's 10% above league average. He's got some pop in his bat, and defensively, he's one of the best right fielders in baseball. The concerns, injuries have been an issue, and he absolutely cannot hit left-handed pitching. But if the price is right in prospects, he's worth exploring. Byron Buxton is my top trade target right now. 136 weighted runs created plus last season. He made the All-Star team. He's an above-average defender. He's got 2 years and $45 million left on his deal. If Minnesota is willing to move him and he waives that no-trade clause to come to Los Angeles, you make that deal immediately. He aligns perfectly with the prime years of Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and Will Smith. He's a leader. The only downside, there's been some talk he wants to DH more to preserve his body, which creates its own complications. Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals is another fascinating option. Versatility is his calling card. You could platoon him in left with Ryan Ward if you want to give the kid a shot. He's not going to cost much financially, though the prospect price might be steep. Here's something interesting. The Dodgers were already interested in trading for him at the deadline last year. Nothing happened, but that interest was real. He hit .287 with 119 weighted runs created plus. He only strikes out 13.5% of the time. He doesn't have a ton of power, but his average exit velocity is in the 94th to 96th percentile. The Dodgers love players who hit the ball hard, and Donovan does that. Defensively, he's just okay, basically league average, but at the right price, he's intriguing. Let me give you some deeper cuts that people aren't talking about enough. Jarren Duran from Boston is right there beneath Buxton as my second best trade option. He hit .285, 31% above league average. He hits the ball hard, gets you doubles, and he's one of the fastest players in the league. Led baseball in triples last year. That speed translates to the bases and in the outfield. He's someone who could immediately upgrade your lineup and your defense. Stephen Kwan from Cleveland is another name floating around. He's got a couple years left of team control. Here's the thing with Kwan. He does not hit the ball hard at all, like bottom of the league bad, but he makes contact at an elite level and rarely strikes out. The question is whether he's already peaked as a player at 27. Defensively, he can't play right field. He's below average in center, so you're basically locking him into left field. If he's in left, that means Teoscar Hernandez has to play right field, and that's not ideal because Teoscar is already a defensive liability. He's going to get worse in right, not better. So if you trade for Kwan, you might have to turn around and trade Teoscar, which opens up a whole new can of worms. Ian Happ from the Cubs is 31 and available. Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox has been discussed on this show forever. The talent is undeniable. The potential is through the roof. But he's dealt with hamstring issues that derailed him at the end of last season, and you have to wonder if he'll ever get back to being that guy. If the Dodgers think they can fix him, the White Sox are natural trade partners. They're rebuilding, they need prospects, and they'd probably take less than market value just to move salary. Kyle Stowers, Lars Nootbaar, Brent Rooker from Oakland. These are all names that will come up in trade discussions. But here's the bottom line. The Dodgers cannot afford to punt on the outfield again this year. They can't run out the same group and hope for different results, whether it's Tucker at the right price, Bellinger on a reasonable deal, Buxton via trade, or Duran as a cheaper option. They need to add a legitimate everyday outfielder who can hit and play defense. This roster is too good everywhere else to let the outfield be the weak link again. The front office knows it, the coaching staff knows it, and now it's just a matter of which direction they choose. But doing nothing, that's not an option anymore. Not.